All right, so there's a beast that rises up out of the sea of people. He has 7 heads, 10 horns, and on his horns there's 10 crowns, and upon his name is blasphemy. So I saw, and the beast that I saw was like a leopard. Leopards have many spots to them, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of someone who's lying. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and authority. So according to how this script is coming along here, there's a dragon. According to the script, all right, that's all I'm telling you.
Robin wants to know when the date is.
So there's a dragon that gave him his seat, his power, and his great authority. The dragon gives someone a seat and authority and plays the shit out of him, all right? Because what else happens is there's one of his heads, because it's like a bunch of 33 degrees, 32, 321 that are in on it. So one of his heads were wounded to death, and I saw a deadly wound was healed, you know, like after 3 days. And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshiped the beast, which had gave power, or they worshiped the dragon, who had given power to the scripted beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like the beast, who is able to make war with the beast? And there was given him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. The power was given to him, but see, the thing is, there's a rug being pulled out from underneath of those 42 months that they think is going to start now, coming up in October. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwelt in the heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given to all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So whenever you lead somebody in captivity, you're going to go into it. So here's the patience and the faith of the saints. I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, from the underground, and he had 2 horns, speaking like a lamb, speaking like a lamb, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. But yeah, he's trying to speak like a lamb at the same time, but he speaks as a dragon, because the dragon gave the first person the power. The dragon is going to pull the rug from underneath of the beast, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, because it's the same rules and regulations that are supposed to be happening, like the Antichrist system. It's the same setup. They're all like the kings of the earth trying to rule with this fake word of God. So he exercised the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. All right, so Kleck is the one that's going to get the deadly wound on the shorelines soon. I believe it's like October 18th, maybe 15th, 18th, somewhere around there. And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men, so that you're going to see fallen stars and come down from the skies. A fallen star is supposed to hit Philadelphia and destroy it, and deceive them that dwell upon the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell upon the earth that they should make an image to the beast. All his Kleck does is goes over images, right? Turns them upside down, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the... Now, I'm not telling you this is what it means. I'm not telling you this is what these scriptures actually mean. I should have said that from the beginning. I'm telling you what they are trying to make it mean. This is not... Kleck is not in the Bible, all right? I just want to get that out there. And he had power to give unto the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many that should not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Kleck said we're all going to die. Right? We're all going to die. And he causes all, both small and great, rich, poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead, and that no man might buy or sell except for he who has the mark and the number of his name, 666. I'm just going to go over this 8th day here. 8 years ago. As we have noted that this 8th day ordinarily was the 22nd day of the 7th month and was to be observed as a Sabbath. The people had to come from all over the land of Israel. How could they be expected to do all the work of moving and traveling on a day that was to be observed by a Sabbath? God solved this problem by indicating that the 8th day was to continue for an additional day. An additional one day was the 23rd day of the 7th month. So when you take the 23rd day, the full day, it goes into the 24th. And on the 20th day, the 23rd day of the 7th month, he sent the people away into their tents, glad and merry in heart, for the goodness that the Lord had showed unto David and to Solomon and to Israel his people. Please note that the almost identical language of this verse to that of 1 Kings quoted above. Remember, 1 Kings 8:6 referred to the 8th day, which was the 22nd day of the month, whereas Chronicles 7:10 refers to the 23rd day of the month. This disclosure on the coastlines, ain't that right, Paul Begley, is very significant, because there's a disclosure coming up on the coastlines. When we realize that the dedication of the temple and the observance of the Feast of the Tabernacles, the Feast of the Bible, are intimately identified with the completion of God's judgment plan at the end of the world. The end of the world is coming. It means that in AD 2011, the 8th day of the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of the Bible, is actually to be considered 2 days in length, whereas the 8th day, the 22nd day of the 7th month, 22nd day of the 7th month, I believe Paul Begley is saying the first day of the 7th month is today, the 29th. I believe that's what he's saying. I'm pretty sure that's what he's saying. So the 7th month, 22nd day, is actually October 20th. In actuality, it is to be observed as they did the Chronicles 7:10 on the 23rd of the 7th month, which is October 21st, 2011. Thus, we must realize that October 21st, 2011 will be the final day of this earth's existence. Well, it didn't happen, did it? It didn't happen. So at one time I thought, is this a 6-year plan? It's going to happen October 21st, 2017? When we examine the dedication of Solomon's temple, we discovered that the Feast of Tabernacles was an integral part of the dedication activities. We also learned that it helps us to know the timing of the end of the world. You know, the way the world is right now, with you guys in charge, especially the ones that think it's going to continue on like this, alright, well, you know, all we're going to do is just wait and see. But why was it called the Feast of Tabernacles? We will discover that the Hebrew word that is translated as tabernacle is in connection with the feast is in a Hebrew word that is more commonly translated booth. Moreover, we will discover that the word booth identifies with the cloud and the fire that covered the tabernacle throughout the 40 years that Israel was in the wilderness. So Israel was literally in the wilderness when until he's 40 years old. And then it's like 3.5 years after that. I think he would have been like 43 and some change, like, I don't know, like a half or something. Was in the wilderness on their way from Egypt to the land of Canaan. Furthermore, we will discover that the cloud and the fire represented the commandments of God. That's spiritual understanding there that Harold Camping had before all of his 450 false prophets, thus making the booth represent the commandments of God. Therefore, the Feast of Tabernacles actually is the feast of the law of God, or the feast of the Bible. The Feast of Tabernacles, the feast of the Bible, emphasizes the glory of God as developed by the glory of God's law book, the Bible. We're almost there. We're almost there. Considering evidence of the Bible points to the fact that in all likelihood Jesus, who is the very essence of the Jubilee, was born on October 2nd in 7 BC. The year 7 BC is a Jubilee year. October 2nd in 7 BC was the Day of Atonement. Okay, yeah, so I think Begley said the Day of Atonement was October 10th, like 10/10. On which the shofar, the ram's horn of the Jubilee, was to be sounded. Oh yeah, so when that second 9/11 happens, well, the ram's horn of the Jubilee was to be sounded. Thus, both the Day of Atonement and the year 7 BC identify with the Jubilee. Remember, the Jubilee focused on the fact that the gospel was to be published to the entire world, the underground world mainly, and Harold Camping reached the mainstream world on because he got mocked on the mainstream news. I only get mocked by you guys from the underground. And Jesus came to this earth to make all the arrangements so that the gospel could be published throughout the world. Thus we see the remarkable link of the timing of the birth of Jesus, who is the very essence of the Jubilee, which the day and year that we focused on, the Jubilee. The next important juncture in God's salvation program was the day Jesus officially began his work as the Messiah. It was the day he was announced to the world as the Lamb of God who had come to take away the sins of the world. According to our modern-day calendar, it was September 26, 29 AD. According to the biblical calendar, it's the first day of the 7th month. So in the 3rd year of Trump, the thing was revealed unto Daniel, and the thing was true, but the time appointed was long. He understood the thing and had understanding of the vision. He was mourning for 3 full weeks, and he ate no pleasant bread, neither flesh nor wine in his mouth, neither did he anoint himself at all until 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. Until 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And in the 24th day of the 1st month, as he was beside the river, he lifted up his eyes. And looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine Euphaz. His body was like the beryl, his face the appearance of lightning, and his eyes like lamps of fire, and his arms as the feet in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the multitude, like a voice of a multitude. I, Daniel, alone saw the vision on the 24th day. This 24th day. So he ate no pleasant bread until the 3 full weeks were fulfilled. So then, and on the 24th day, when you see the abomination, desolation standing in the holy place, which according to them is Philadelphia, 21 days, a Wednesday, evening, morning, 23rd, 24th. So Daniel alone saw this vision. For the men that were with him, they didn't see the vision. So a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled from the fear of the noise. Therefore I was left alone and saw this great vision, and there remained no strength in me, for my commonness was turned into me. To corruption I retained no strength. Yet I heard the voice of his words, and when I heard the voice of his words, then I was in a deep sleep, my face towards the ground. And behold, he touched me and set me upon my knees and upon my palms of my hands, and said, Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words I speak to you, and stand upright. Stand upright, like when that eagle stands upright. For unto thee I am now sent. And when he had spoken his words unto me, I stood trembling. Then he said to me, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to chastise yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I come for your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. I'm now come to make you understand what shall befall your people in the latter days, for the visions for many days. So he felt dumb afterwards, his face towards the ground, and one came touch him like similitude of the sons of men. And he opened his mouth and he spoke, and he said his visions upon him are turned upon him, that by the visions of my sorrows are turned upon me, and I have retained no strength. For how can the servant of you talk to you? Basically, for as for me, straightway there remain no strength in me, neither is there breath left in me. Then there came again and touched me one like the appearance of the man, and he strengthened me and said, greatly beloved, fear not, peace be to you, be strong. And when he had spoken, I was strengthened, and said, let my Lord speak, for you have strengthened me. Then he said, know therefore that when I come unto you, and now will I return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I am gone forth, the prince of Grecia shall come. But I will show you that which is noted in the scriptures of truth, and there is none that holds with me these things but Michael your prince. Also, in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm, to strengthen him. So Darius was strengthened by him, the one that's talking to Daniel. And now I will show you the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia. All right, 3 of them. And the 4th shall be far richer than they all, and by his strength through his riches he shall stir up all against the realm of Greece. Now what kind of riches are these? Like, what are riches of money, or is this someone who is richer in the spirit? I don't know yet. I'm still trying to debate, because I know a lot of things are twisted. And and a mighty king shall stand up, that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. And he shall stand up and when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken, and not for his kingdom shall be broken as soon as he stands up. And when he stands up, like as soon as he gets ready to start ruling, as soon as he stands up, his kingdom shall be broken, and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven, like after 3.5 days, and not to his posterity, nor according to his dominion which he ruled, for his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others besides those. And the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion, and his dominion shall be a great dominion. And in the end of these years they shall join themselves together, for the king's daughter of the south shall come against the king of the north to make an arrangement. So they're going to make some kind of peace treaty deal or something soon. But she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither stand for him nor his arm, but she shall be given up, and they that brought her, and he that begot her, and he that strengthened her in these times. But out of a branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, which shall be which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall prevail against them, fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail. And also carry captivities into Egypt their gods, with their princes, and their precious vessels of silver and gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north, so that the king of the south shall come into his kingdom, and shall return into his own land. But his sons shall be stirred up, and shall assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through. Then shall he return, and he be stirred up even to his fortress. And the king of the south shall be moved with anger, and shall come forth to fight with him, even with the king of the north. And he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given into his hand. And when he has taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up, and he shall cast down many 10,000s, but he shall not be strengthened by it. For the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches. And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. Also the robbers of your people shall exalt themselves to establish their vision that they have, that they're so excited for. They shall, in those days, they shall stand up to establish their vision, but they shall fall. So the king of the north shall cast up a mount and take the most fenced cities. Hawaii, Guam, Alaska are the three that I've always had in mind as the most fenced cities. With volcanoes starting over in Hawaii, and then the bombs over in Guam, but it really won't be that case. It really won't happen the way they're saying. And the arms of the south shall not withstand neither his chosen people, neither shall there be any strength to withstand. Now, who's the chosen people? You're automatically going to think, well, it's God's people. Well, what about the people that were chosen to be the princes of an evil king? But he that comes against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him. And he shall stand in the glorious land which by his hand is consumed. He shall also set his face to enter with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do. And he shall give him the daughter of women corrupting her, but she shall not stand on the side, neither before him, and neither before him. After this shall he turn his face unto the isles, and shall take many, but a prince for his own behalf shall cause the reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach, he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face toward the fort of his own land, but he shall stumble and fall and not be found. Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes. And the raiser of taxes, after he stands up in his estate in the glory of the kingdom, but see, within a few days, he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. Because the only other way to be destroyed without being angry or without being in a battle is by being slain by the word of God, which is love. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person. A vile person shall stand up in his estate. Now this sounds like it's jumping back to the forward again, but let me read. And in his estate shall stand up a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And with the arms of a flood, because the flood is coming, the 18th October, once all those volcanic eruptions and the earthquakes cause the tsunamis that happen here in America. And with the arms of the flood shall they be overflown from before him, and shall be broken. Also the prince of the covenant. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people. He's going to come up strong with small people. Alright? Small people, you know, like everybody who's working to surveil in an evil way. And he shall come up and shall be strong with small people, and he shall enter peaceably even upon the fattest places of the province, and he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey, the spoil, the riches. You know, economy collapse, 10-10, I win. Yea, and he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time, because our devices are getting shut down, just for a time. And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army, and the king of the south shall be stirred up to my battle with a very great army, mighty army. But he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. And they that feed of the portion of his meat, they that feed upon the portion of his meat, well, they are going to be the ones. His army shall overflow, and many shall fall down slain. And both of these kings shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the appointed time. Then shall he return into his own land, into his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant. He shall do exploits and return to his own land, and at the appointed time he shall return and come toward the south, but it shall not be as the former, or as the latter. It's not going to be like either. For the ships of Chittim shall come against him, therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant. He shall, so shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. There's two groups of intelligence, though. And the armies shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary to strength, and they shall take away the daily sacrifice on October 2nd, when the second 9/11 happens in the second woe. And they shall place the abomination that makes it desolate. So when you hear the abomination desolate stand in a holy place, like Daniel told you, you know what to do, right? Stay still. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God, well, I think we already know what's going to happen.
Robin.
That's right. So, they that understand among the people shall instruct many that do exploits. They shall still fall by the sword and by the fake fire and captivity and spoil for many days. Their economy is going to collapse. Now, when they shall fall, they shall be helped with a little bit of help, because that's when Michael stands up for 21 days. But many are going to cleave to them with flatteries, because YouTube's still going to be up. You guys still have a job to do. And some of them with understanding shall fall to try them and to purge and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it's still yet for appointed time. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, every single god, and shall prosper till the indignation be complete. Until the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women. You don't see either one of them with women, do you? Nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. That's what they're both doing. But in his estate he shall honor God of forces, and the God whom his fathers knew not, and shall honor with gold and silver and with precious stone and pleasant things. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide by gain, shall divide the land for gain. And at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him with a whirlwind and chariots and horsemen, and with many ships, and he shall enter into countries, and shall overflow and pass over. He shall enter into places, the glorious land, and the many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape his hand, even Edom, Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon. He shall stretch forth his hand, and also upon the countries and the land of